Picture this. You're sitting at a family dinner. The table's buzzing with chatter, plates clinking, and that one uncle, you know the one, leans back in his chair, smirking, and drops a comment. It's subtle, but it lands like a grenade. "Still working that dead-end job, huh?" His tone drips with judgment. The room doesn't stop, but your world does. Your chest tightens. Your face feels hot. Your mind starts racing. How dare he? Who does he think he is? You want to snap back, to defend yourself, to wipe that smug look off his face. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you just swallow it, force a smile, and let the moment pass, only to replay it in your head for the next 3 days. Sound familiar? That moment when someone's words, their tone, their energy hijacks your entire mood? It's not just family dinners. It's the coworker who interrupts you in every meeting. The friend who always seems to one-up you. The stranger on social media who leaves a snarky comment that ruins your morning. You tell yourself you're fine. You're above it. You've read the self-help books, done the breathing exercises, maybe even tried that meditation app everyone raves about. But the second someone pushes your buttons, it's like your emotions are a runaway train. You're angry, you're bothered, and worst of all, you feel like they have the power. Why does this happen? Why do some people have this ability to crawl under your skin and stay there? Why can't you just let it go? And more importantly, how do you stop it not just for a moment, but for good? What if I told you that the secret to never getting angry or bothered again isn't about controlling them? It's about understanding you. And the person who can show us how isn't a life coach or a guru with a catchy hashtag. It's a Swiss psychologist who spent his life decoding the human soul, Carl Jung. If you've ever felt like your emotions are running the show, like you're one snarky comment away from losing it, this is for you. Because we're not here to talk about quick fixes or 5 steps to inner peace. We're diving deep into why you react the way you do, why certain people seem to hold the keys to your emotions, and how you can take those keys back. This isn't about becoming emotionless or pretending you're unbothered. It's about becoming so rooted in who you are that no one's chaos can shake you. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's talk about how Carl Jung's wisdom can help you become emotionally untouchable, not by building walls, but by dismantling the triggers inside you. And if this resonates, hit that like button, because this isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. Let's start with a story. A few years ago, I was at a coffee shop, minding my own business, typing away on my laptop. The place was packed, the kind of busy where you're fighting for a table and the barista's shouting names like it's an auction. I'm in my zone, headphones on, when this guy at the next table starts talking loud. Like, obnoxiously loud. He's on his phone, laughing, throwing out opinions like he's hosting a TED Talk for the whole cafe. Every word feels like a personal attack on my focus. I'm trying to stay calm, but my blood's boiling. I'm thinking, who does this guy think he is? Why can't he just shut up? I'm ready to give him a death stare or maybe even say something snappy. But then I catch myself. Why am I so mad? This guy doesn't know me. He's not talking to me. He's just living his life, probably unaware he's even being loud. So why do I feel like he's ruining my day? That's when I started thinking about Carl Jung. Because Jung had this brutal, brilliant way of cutting through the noise. Not the noise of loud coffee shop guys, but the noise inside our heads. He said something that stopped me in my tracks. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Let that sink in. That annoying person, the loud guy, the judgmental uncle, the co-worker who always takes credit, they're not the problem. They're a mirror. They're showing you something about you. And most of us, we don't want to look. We'd rather blame them, avoid them, or try to control them. But Jung's point is clear. Your anger, your frustration, your reaction isn't about what they did. It's about what their actions woke up inside you. Think about it. You don't get mad when someone criticizes something you're confident about. If you're a great cook and someone says your pasta's overdone, you might shrug it off or laugh. But if someone pokes at something you're insecure about, your job, your appearance, your worth, It's like they've pressed a button labeled self-destruct. Your heart races, your thoughts spiral. You're not just reacting to them. You're reacting to a story you've been carrying, maybe for years. This is where Jung gets real. He called this hidden story your shadow. The shadow is the part of you that you've pushed down, ignored, or pretended doesn't exist. It's the stuff you were told was too much or not enough, too emotional, too loud, too quiet, too selfish, too weak. Maybe as a kid, you were told to stop crying because big boys don't cry, or good girls don't get angry. So you buried those feelings. You built a persona, the calm one, the nice one, the strong one to survive. But the shadow? It doesn't go away. It just waits. And when someone comes along who embodies the traits you've buried, it's like they're holding a flashlight to your deepest insecurities. Let's go back to that coffee shop guy. Why did his loudness bother me so much? Sure, he was annoying, but the real question is, why did I care? When I dug deeper, I realized it wasn't just about him. Growing up, I was always told to be quiet, to not take up space, to not draw attention. Being loud was rude or embarrassing. So when this guy was unapologetically loud, it wasn't just breaking cafe etiquette, it was breaking my rules, the ones I'd internalized about what's acceptable. His freedom was poking at my cage. Jung believed that every person who triggers you is reflecting a part of your shadow. That coworker who's always bragging, they're not just annoying. They're touching the part of you that was never allowed to celebrate yourself. That friend who's always late, they're not just disrespectful, they're hitting the part of you that feels unseen or unimportant. The stranger who cuts you off in traffic, they're not just a jerk, they're reminding you of every time you felt powerless. This is what Jung meant when he said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When someone bothers you, it's not a one-way street, it's a collision. And that collision is an invitation to look at what's been buried. Your anger isn't the enemy, it's a signal. It's saying, hey, there's something here you haven't dealt with yet. Here's where it gets juicy. Jung didn't just say we have a shadow. He said we're all haunted by complexes, emotional patterns wired into us from our past. That moment when you're fuming because someone ignored you, that's not just about them. It's about the time your parent didn't show up to your school play, or the friend who ghosted you in high school, or the teacher who made you feel like your voice didn't matter. Every trigger is a time machine, pulling you back to an unhealed wound. Let me tell you another story. I had a friend, let's call her Sarah. Sarah was the kind of person who could light up a room, but she had this one coworker, Mike, who drove her up the wall. Mike was always taking credit for her ideas in meetings. She'd pitch something brilliant, and he'd paraphrase it like it was his own. Sarah would come home fuming, ranting about how unfair it was, how she wanted to call him out, but she never did. She'd just stew, replaying every meeting in her head, imagining all the clever comebacks she should have said. One day, I asked her, "Why does Mike get to you so much?" She paused, then said, "Because he makes me feel invisible." And there it was. It wasn't just about Mike. Growing up, Sarah's older sibling was the golden child, the one who got all the praise, all the attention. Sarah learned early on that her ideas, her voice, didn't matter as much. Mike wasn't just stealing her ideas. He was stealing her chance to be seen, a chance she'd been fighting for her whole life. This is what Jung meant by complexes. They're not just quirks. They're stories we've internalized about who we are and what we deserve. And every time someone triggers you, they're activating one of those stories. The person who cuts you off in traffic isn't just rude, they're reminding you of every time you felt disrespected. The friend who cancels plans isn't just flaky, they're touching the part of you that fears abandonment. Your anger isn't about now, it's about then. Here's the part most people don't want to hear. You don't get angry because the world is unfair. You get angry because you're trying to control it. You want people to act the way you expect. You want them to respect you, to see you, to validate you. And when they don't, it feels like a personal attack. But here's the truth: control isn't peace. It's anxiety with a better Instagram filter. We've all been there. You're in an argument, and you're not just fighting to be right. You're fighting to be seen. You're fighting to prove you're not small, not weak, not invisible. But the harder you fight, the more you give away your power. Because every time you react, you're handing someone else the reins to your emotions. You're saying, "You get to decide how I feel." Jung saw through this. He knew that real peace doesn't come from controlling the outside world. It comes from understanding the inside one. When someone bothers you, it's not because they're powerful. It's because they've touched something you haven't claimed. Something fragile. Something you've been avoiding. And the only way to stop being bothered is to stop outsourcing your worth. So how do you do it? How do you stop letting other people's words, actions, or energy derail you? Jung's answer isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending you're fine. It's about integration. It's about bringing your shadow into the light, owning every part of yourself, the good, the bad, the messy, so that no one else can use it against you. Here's what that looks like in real life. The next time someone triggers you, whether it's a snarky comment, a dismissive look, or just their general vibe, pause. Don't react. Don't suppress. Just notice. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What am I feeling right now? Name the emotion. Anger? Shame? Fear? Get specific. 2. Where have I felt this before? Trace it back. Is this about the person in front of you, or is it pulling you into a memory? 3. What story am I telling myself? Are you telling yourself you're not good enough? Not respected? Not loved? Let's break it down with an example. Imagine you're in a meeting, and your boss cuts you off mid-sentence. Your first instinct is to snap back or shut down, but instead you pause. You notice the heat in your chest, the tightness in your jaw, you name it. I'm angry. Then you ask, where have I felt this before? Maybe it reminds you of being ignored as a kid, or feeling like your ideas were never good enough. Then you ask, what story am I telling myself? Maybe it's, I'm not important enough to be heard. Now here's the magic. Once you see the story, you can rewrite it. You don't need your boss's validation to know your ideas matter. You don't need their approval to know your worth. You set a boundary. Maybe you calmly say, I'd like to finish my thought. But you do it from a place of clarity, not defense. You're not fighting to prove yourself. You're standing in who you already are. This is what Jung called individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming whole. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real. It's about saying, I'm not just the nice one, or the strong one, or the calm one. I'm all of it, the anger, the fear, the insecurity, the power, and I'm okay with all of it. Let's get practical. Integration sounds great, but how do you actually do it when someone's pushing your buttons in real time? Here's a toolbox you can use, inspired by Jung's wisdom, but grounded in everyday life. Step 1. Pause and breathe. I know breathing exercises sound like self-help fluff, but there's a reason every therapist and meditation app harps on it. When you're triggered, your body goes into fight or flight mode. Your heart races, your thoughts speed up, and you're primed to react. A deep breath in for 4, hold for 4, out for 6 hits the brakes. It gives you a second to step back and see what's happening inside. Step 2. Name the trigger. Don't just say, I'm mad. Get curious. Is it anger mixed with shame? Fear of being rejected? Feeling disrespected? Naming it helps you see it for what it is. A signal, not a sentence. Step 3. Trace the root. This is where Jung's genius comes in. Ask yourself, when have I felt this before? Maybe your co-worker's criticism feels like your dad's disapproval. Maybe your friend's silence feels like being left out in middle school. The trigger isn't the problem. It's the echo of an old wound. Step 4. Rewrite the story. Once you see the story, I'm not good enough, I'm not seen, I'm not enough, challenge it. Is it true? Or is it just a script you've been carrying? You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You don't need their approval to be whole. Step 5. Respond. Don't react. A reaction is automatic. It's your shadow running the show. A response is intentional. Maybe you set a boundary. Maybe you walk away. Maybe you just let it go, because you realize their words don't define you. Whatever you do it from a place of power, not panic. Here's a real-life example. I had a client, let's call him Tom. Tom was a manager at a tech company, and he had this one employee, Lisa, who drove him nuts. Lisa was always late to meetings, always had an excuse, and always seemed to skirt responsibility. Tom would leave every meeting with her feeling like he'd been punched in the gut. He'd rant to his wife, lose sleep, and dread every interaction with her. When we worked together, I asked Tom to pause the next time Lisa triggered him and run through these steps. The next meeting, Lisa showed up late again, with another flimsy excuse. Tom felt the usual rage bubbling up, but he took a breath. He named the feeling, "I'm angry and I feel disrespected." He traced it back. "This feels like when my older brother used to blow me off like I didn't matter." Then he looked at the story. "I'm telling myself that Lisa's lateness means I'm not important." Once he saw that, something shifted. Lisa's behavior wasn't about him. It was about her disorganization, her priorities, her life. Tom didn't need her punctuality to prove his worth as a manager. So instead of snapping at her, he set a clear boundary. "Lisa, I need you to be on time for our meetings. It's important for the team." He said it calmly, without the usual resentment. And you know what? Lisa didn't magically change. But Tom did. He stopped letting her lateness ruin his day. He took back his power. This is the goal. Emotional sovereignty. It's not about never feeling angry or bothered. It's about feeling it, understanding it, and choosing what to do with it. It's about knowing that no one, not your boss, not your partner, not the loud guy at the coffee shop, gets to decide how you feel. You do. Jung believed that true freedom comes when you stop splitting yourself into good and bad parts. When you integrate your shadow, you stop projecting it onto others. That co-worker who seems arrogant, you don't hate them. You're seeing the confidence you were never allowed to claim. That friend who's always needy, they're not draining you. They're showing you the part of you that's afraid of needing others. Integration doesn't mean you become perfect. It means you become whole. You stop fighting to be the nice person or the strong person. You let yourself be human, messy, flawed, and powerful. And when you do that, something incredible happens. The people who used to trigger you, they lose their grip. Their words, their actions, their energy, it doesn't stick anymore. Not because you're numb, but because you're full. Full of yourself in the best way possible. Imagine walking into a room where someone's trying to push your buttons. Maybe it's that uncle at the family dinner, throwing shade about your job. Maybe it's a coworker stealing your thunder. Maybe it's a stranger online, leaving a nasty comment. And instead of flinching, you just don't. You see their behavior for what it is, a reflection of their story, not yours. You set a boundary if you need to. You walk away if it's not worth your energy. But you don't spiral. You don't lose sleep. You don't let their chaos become yours. That's what Jung meant by individuation. It's not about being untouchable because you've built walls. It's about being untouchable because you've filled your own gaps. You've made peace with the parts of you that used to feel fragile. You've stopped outsourcing your worth to other people's opinions. You've stopped letting their shadows control your light. So how do you make this real? How do you take Jung's big ideas and apply them to your messy, complicated, everyday life? Here are 5 practical lessons, grounded in Jung's philosophy, that you can start using today. Lesson 1. Triggers are teachers. Every time someone bothers you, they're holding up a mirror. Instead of blaming them, Get curious. What are they showing you about yourself? Maybe it's an old wound, like feeling ignored or disrespected. Maybe it's a belief you didn't even know you had, like, I'm only valuable if people like me. Write it down. Journal about it. The more you understand your triggers, the less power they have. Lesson 2. Boundaries aren't walls. Setting a boundary doesn't mean shutting people out. It means protecting your energy while staying true to yourself. If someone's disrespecting you, you don't have to yell or shut down. You can say, I don't appreciate that tone, or I need to step away from this conversation. Boundaries aren't about control. They're about clarity. Lesson 3. You don't need their validation. The moment you stop needing other people to see your worth, you stop giving them the power to hurt you. This is hard, because we're wired for connection. We want to be liked, seen, understood. But true validation comes from within. Next time you're craving someone's approval, ask yourself, what am I hoping they'll confirm about me? Then give that to yourself. Lesson 4. Anger is information. Don't shame yourself for feeling angry. It's not a flaw. It's a signal that something needs your attention. Maybe it's a boundary that's been crossed. Maybe it's a wound that's still raw. Instead of acting on it, listen to it. What's it trying to tell you? Lesson 5. Healing is a journey, not a destination. Integration isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a lifelong process. You'll still get triggered sometimes. You'll still feel angry or hurt. But the difference is, you'll know what to do with it. You'll see it as a chance to grow, not a reason to shrink. Let me tell you one last story. A few months ago, I was at a friend's wedding. It was one of those beautiful, chaotic events, open bar, loud music, everyone trying to outdo each other on the dance floor. I'm catching up with an old friend when another guest, someone I barely know, butts into our conversation. He's tipsy, talking over us, making everything about him. My friend rolls her eyes, but I feel that familiar heat rising. I'm about to snap or walk away when I remember Jung. I pause. I breathe. I ask myself, why is this bothering me? And then it hits me. This guy's need to be the center of attention is poking at a part of me. I've buried the part that wants to be seen too. Growing up, I was always the quiet one, the listener, the one who let others take the spotlight. This guy's behavior wasn't just rude, it was reminding me of all the times I felt invisible. So instead of reacting, I got curious. I smiled, let him ramble, and then gently steered the conversation back to my friend. No drama, no spiral, just clarity. That's the power of Jung's work. It's not about never feeling anything, it's about feeling it all and staying grounded anyway. It's about seeing the mirror, not smashing it. So here's the truth. You'll never stop people from being people. They'll interrupt you, they'll judge you, they'll misunderstand you, they'll project their own baggage onto you. But none of that has to define you. Because when you integrate your shadow, when you make peace with the parts of you that you've been avoiding, something shifts. You stop reacting to their noise. You stop needing their approval. You stop letting their chaos become yours. Carl Jung didn't promise you'd never feel angry. He promised you could become whole. And wholeness isn't about being perfect or untouchable. It's about being so rooted in who you are that no one else's words, actions, or energy can shake you. It's about walking into a room and knowing that your worth isn't up for debate. It's about facing the world with a quiet, unshakable presence, not because you're numb, but because you're alive. So the next time someone triggers you, don't run from it. Don't fight it. Look at it. Ask, what is this showing me about myself? Because every trigger is a teacher, every reaction is a map. And every moment of anger is a door to something deeper, the part of you that's waiting to be seen, to be claimed, to be loved. This is your invitation. Stop blaming the mirror. Start meeting the reflection. Because when you do, you don't just stop getting angry, you start becoming free. If this hit you where it hurts, if it woke something up in you, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to stop letting other people's noise control your peace, subscribe. Because this isn't about numbing out or running away. It's about looking at your shadow, integrating it, and stepping into the kind of power that no one can take away. Comment below. I'm not reactive, I'm rooted. Let the world see it. Let yourself feel it. Because your peace isn't a performance, it's your truth.